All right, guys. So I just watched Star Wars Skeleton Crew episode 7, and it was another pretty good one. Although I think that my criticisms about the series throughout are unfortunately going to remain valid. We'll go through it. So it starts off, I will say, not the best. We get a nighttime scene where you cannot see literally anything. The parents are like trying to send out this distress signal. Now, don't get me wrong, it was not nearly as bad as this, but it did kind of remind me of the Princess Leia chase scene where it's just like where they're like running very slowly, like, or it also gave me whiffs of the Obi-Wan Vader scene where like Obi-Wan is like, oh, I can't step off of the volume stage, but I gotta get away from Vader. Oh, it's like they're running very slowly. Not we don't see them running across like far distances. Just not the best scene visually. I will say. um, but yeah, at the end of the day, I again one of my main major criticisms is that I just would have liked to have seen more from the parents, more of them investigating at Adin. I thought it would there was just like an opportunity for there to be this like uncovering of corruption and whatnot within at Adin, but they just never took advantage of that. So, just kind of disappointing, in my humble opinion. I did like this little scene here where the kids are all happy, Neil and Fern and KB, because they're going home. But Wim is disappointed that he's gonna have to go back to school and life is gonna be back to normal. I like that scene. I also liked Fern consoling him and whatnot. I mean, everybody was trying to console him, but I feel like Fern specifically, they had that kind of touching scene, so that was pretty good. I also liked seeing Jod. I like how convincing he is. I like how he's very manipulative. He's able to turn the tides, of the pirate crew over to his side. He's able to convince them that Adin has treasure and whatnot. Yeah, I like the Jod character just in general, and I like all of his scheming and conniving ways. Uh, I like the I like the scene where little bro they send him out to try to get through the barrier, and he was not able to. And I also like this because it really does show how it's actually very believable that nobody has found at Adin, in all this time. Like anybody that decides to check out this planet, like most people are gonna look at it and go like, there's not. Well, why would I try to go in there? And then anybody that does try to go in there is just immediately vaporized. So they're not going to be able to like tell other people that the planet exists, right? It's only in this like very specific moment where a group of people decide to go there and then they send out one person. But then even then they're not going to follow suit. They're not going to know that it's actually these like electricity devices that are zapping things. So I like the scene because it actually makes the whole premise of the show pretty believable. Then they end up seeing the kids coming in and they do the tractor beam thing. And I thought it was kind of fun the way that the kids use the claw to sort of try to scare them off. But obviously Jod doesn't buy it. He takes this opportunity to kill the guy who did the mutiny. Don't remember his name. Doesn't matter. He's dead now. And yeah, again, I like Jod. I like seeing him, you know, convince his crew to let him be captain again, because it's one of those weird things where it's like, yeah, Jod is an asshole, but you still kind of rooting for him to take over from the from the wolf guy. So I thought that was pretty fun. But I really like the scene where 33 is kind of like proven to have his own conscience, right? Like he's not just a robot. Because there's the moment where like, technically Jod is the captain, but then Fern decides to say, what did she say? Like takes backsies captain or whatever. Whatever. She says some weird thing to try to get back the role of captain. And even though it doesn't really work that way, I like that 33 is sort of able to override his programming and punch Jod out. I thought that was pretty fun. Unfortunately, they had managed to escape, but Jod sneaks back into the ship and kills 33. That was actually a pretty decent fake out because you don't see Jod getting onto the ship. And when it happens, I was actually like, oh, he's there. So I thought that was a pretty good fake out. I don't think 33 is dead because didn't he get shot in the head beforehand and they were able to bring him back? So I didn't have the whole thing of like, oh no, 33. Even though I think they were kind of trying to go for that effect. I just feel like it's probably going to be easy to put him back together. But we'll see. Jod ends up going to the vault and he sees the money. And I actually really like this scene as well because it's one of those things where, like, yes, obviously Jod is a bad guy and whatnot, but, like, I think when you see the way that other people in the Star Wars universe live and how hard it is, it's like you can kind of understand the desperation and you can kind of understand why, pirates would be out there trying to steal treasure. And you can kind of understand, because he has that big speech where he's like telling the kids that they're annoying, which honestly, based, fuck them kids, am I right? Ayo! But like he kind of calls them spoiled brats, and it's like you can kind of understand how Jod has probably struggled his entire life, and the rest of the universe is struggling, and Adin is just kind of like hoarding all of this wealth and hoarding this wonderful life. It's like, and his reaction to seeing the gold, it's like you can kind of empathize, if not, even though he's at the end of the day an asshole. Another thing that's interesting is that so the droids mention a chancellor, which implies that there's a guy that's in charge of all of this that we're gonna see in the last episode. And I don't love that, right? Like, I don't love that there's probably going to be some, like, ultimate antagonist. But it reminds me of Kang in season 1 of Loki, where it's like there's this antagonist, and then they just show him at the end of the season as if I'm supposed to give a fuck at that point. Like, you didn't build him up to be a person that I care about. So we'll see exactly how they handle it in the last episode, but it does seem like they're doing that again. Well, I say they, it's Disney, even though Lucasfilm and Marvel are two different studios. And also another thing, just a question that I have. So the droids talk about, or the parents say that when they send out the beacon, they say that they should seek out somebody from the Republic. And the Republic knows about Adin, and that the Republic would take them back to Adin. Something that I'm kind of curious about. So, when they say the Republic, because isn't the Republic or the government post original trilogy the New Republic? But do the citizens of Star Wars just refer to it as the Republic? Or is it a situation where the parents are like brainwashed and propagandized and believe that the old Republic are still out there? So I guess my main question is, are there people in the New Republic that believe or that know about Adin? I don't know. I don't know about that. That is my question. But yeah, we'll see who the Chancellor is. I don't know, like, it's probably going to be somebody that Star Wars fans recognize, whether it be from like the books or like, I'm trying to think. I don't know who I know of that could be the Chancellor. I'm honestly not sure. And there's actually, I will say, there's actually a pretty good chance that it's the Onyx guy, the old captain of the ship. Actually, that guy might be it, now that I think about it. Actually, it probably is going to be him. So it might not be somebody that we recognize. Or maybe that captain is somebody that we recognize and they just gave him a different name. So that to keep the surprise. Who knows? We'll see. The episode ends with Jod threatening the families. I I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think that Jod is going to be willing to kill anybody or willing to kill the kids. At the very, he might kill the parents, but I don't think he would kill the kids. Like, I do think that deep down, I think Jod likes the kids. I think he's like, I don't think he wants to hurt them. I don't think he's willing to hurt them. So I think he's just gonna do a thing where he holds them hostage. That's my guess. He just wants to get money and then get out, right? That's my. We'll see though. I am curious though. Are there like Star Wars fans that are mad about this? Because I remember this was a big thing with the Acolyte, where like Star Wars fans are like, "The Jedi is supposed to be a good guy. You made the Jedi morally gray, and you're not supposed to do that because the Jedi are the good guys, and they're always supposed to be the best." It's like I'm just gonna be honest. I don't care enough about Star Wars to even for an iota of a second care about them portraying a Jedi bad. It's just not something that I care about. And I haven't seen, discussion of this episode, so I don't know if Star Wars fans are having that reaction, but I am curious to see. But yeah, either way, I thought it was a decent episode. I have some qualms with the show, but I think this has the potential of actually being a win for Star Wars, right? Of them actually making a television show that is just good and solid all the way through. We haven't really had that since Andor. So we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.